Hello and welcome to our energy webinar. I have here with me today Alison Cowell, who operates her healthy eating business from one of our rooms within Ahuriri Pharmacy. Today we're going to talk about energy levels and how you can improve them. So Alison, what would be the reasons for low energy?
There's lots of reasons for low energy. First of all, you'd need to rule out that you don't have anything serious like a chronic fatigue syndrome.
Great. How do you know if you've got chronic fatigue syndrome?
You can actually have a blood test done that looks at specific immunity antibodies to rule out things like fibromyalgia and adrenal fatigue. But generally, as a holistic nutritionist, many people that I see who have low energy, it would be maybe that they have a food intolerance, that they have a nutritionally deficient diet, particularly with things like B12 and iron, and blood sugar fluctuations. If they're too high or too low, that can cause energy to deplete. And other things like side effects of medication. So if you're taking medicines, you'd be reading the labels to make sure that there's nothing there working against you. And even something as simple as not drinking enough water can cause your energy to deplete later on in the afternoon. It really helps to keep like a food and symptom diary to see if any of these could be the reasons why.
Sounds great. What would be some natural ways that you could boost your energy?
Well, when it comes down to the cells in our bodies requiring nutrients to keep them fired up, we need a good blend of both protein and complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates are natural things rather than simple carbohydrates like white rice and white flour that can take the energy away. The complex carbs balance our blood sugars and break down more easily in the system. So something like peanut butter on grainy bread, grainy whole grain bread would be gorgeous. You could have something like tuna with a pasta or a brown rice. Just a combination of both the protein and the carb works really well to fire the energy cells. And again, coming back to the dehydration, most people do not drink enough water throughout the day. So you don't have to drink gallons of it, just having a small sip every so often throughout the day just to keep the body hydrated really helps. And drinking water also helps take the nutrients around to your cells. So even if your diet's really good, if you're not drinking enough water, then the cells don't get fed and they can't do their job. If your energy is really lacking over a long period of time, you might want to consider taking supplements. Before you get something like iron, though it's worth getting your bloods tested to see where your iron levels are at, because you can actually have too much iron if you don't need it. But things like spirulina, which is an algae from the ocean, it's really, really good, full of iron and iodine. It boosts the cells and helps them to energize. It works very well for your adrenal function and your thyroid function, in fact, spirulina. Iodine, for the same reason, works well with the thyroid function. And a B vitamin complex. In fact, a lot of people who follow very high protein diets do away with the B vitamin complex as a group. B vitamins are found predominantly in grains, and people who are not eating grains tend to then become deficient in B complexes and find that their energy and their mood and their hormones start to get a little bit out of balance because they've taken a big group out there. So if that's the case for you, you'd want to be considering a B vitamin complex. And also breathing. We have our lungs, we don't tend to not use our lungs as much as we should. The capacity of our lungs is far greater than we're using them. So real proper diaphragmatic breathing really helps to restore your energy. Learning how to sit properly and breathe properly is really quite a crucial remedy when it comes to boosting your energy.
Fantastic. So Alison, what would you say in an ideal day, probably in an ideal world, that we would do?
Well, again, everybody's different. So bearing in mind that you don't have any food intolerances or any health conditions that preclude you from taking any of the following, we'd start every day with a lovely hot water and lemon, fresh lemon juice.
I've been doing that last week.
Marvellous. But your little cells are buzzing in there, Andrea. So the reason that really helps is it detoxifies the body and it works really well for your liver function. If your liver is unhappy, you can really go out of balance. So that's a really good start to the day. And then it would be to take a probiotic, which is a healthy bacteria supplement. If you have a look at your tongue and your tongue's very heavily coated, it's a sign that you don't have enough healthy bacteria in your intestines. And the job of healthy bacteria is that they help absorb nutrients and eliminate waste. So if that's not happening you're not absorbing your nutrients and you're not getting rid of your waste efficiently, that will cause your energy to deplete. So a good probiotic supplement. You can get dairy-free ones if you happen to have an issue with dairy. And then your breakfast would be a combination, if you can, of cereal and or protein. So something like egg on a whole grain piece of toast, if you can tolerate that, and cereal with a nice dairy milk, if you can tolerate that. Other alternatives might be, you can have soy milk. And it's actually okay to have something like a protein shake. If you really can't face a breakfast in the morning, protein shake would be really good. Then to snack, you want natural sugars from things like dates. Dates are very high in iron and natural sugars. And in fact, it's been proven that people who snack on dates as a morning snack tend to not have a sugar craving later on in the day. So they're really, really useful. Portion-wise, you're only looking about 3 or 4. Then nuts are very, very good. They've got the essential fatty acids of nuts that start to feed the cells, and they can do their job. They're a good source of protein. A granola mix is really good. Making your own is one thing. You can put together little portions that make your own body's needs, or you can go to a health shop. There's some lovely granola mixes out there. If you have digestive issues though, you wouldn't want to mix too many fruits with your granola mix, so it should be more of the grains than putting in things like apples and apricots into that we mix. And then obviously fruit, a nice piece of fruit is always healthy and re-energizing. From a protein intake coming on later on in the day, for lunch you want to be thinking about having some complex carbs, low GI, so the glycemic index works well with your blood sugars, keeps your pancreas happy, slows everything down so that it energizes you throughout the day. So you can get some wonderful pasta dishes, and a beautiful cold or hot brown rice salad would be ideal for lunch. And in the evening, switching to easily absorbed nutritious foods like white meat and fish can really be helpful. And you can cut back on your carbohydrates at night, because they can actually tend to work against you and be a bit more sluggish in your system. So unless you're going out to do exercise or walk around the block, you'd cut back on carbohydrates, but you can still have a good supply of lovely vegetables.
Sounds great. So for somebody who is a little bit lost and not sure what to do next, what would you suggest, Alison?
Well, a starting point, if you think, I'm not sure if it's my iron or my blood sugars or my thyroid, you can actually get a blood test done that can confirm or deny the fact that those are the areas that you need to be treating. It's really helpful, especially when people come to see me, if they've kept a food and symptom diary. So looking at the time of the day that your energy might be depleting and the foods that you've eaten, particularly within 4 hours of you becoming tired. Very useful to have a food intolerance test. A food intolerance is not the same as a food allergy. So with a food intolerance, you don't get an immediate, I've eaten that food and my energy is depleted. Your energy can happen over the course of time, because having a food intolerance inhibits the absorption of nutrients, and so your symptoms happen later on in the day. If you're on any medicines, really, really check out the side effects, not just of how they might affect your energy, but how they affect anything to do with your bones, your sleep, your digestive system. Because while medicines are very good, they do come with side effects, and you need to make sure that they're not adversely affecting you. And then there's a raft of wonderful supplements that you can have. If you are deficient in anything that your blood test might have thrown up, you can invest in some wonderful supplements. And then if you're taking supplements, make sure again they're not clashing with the medicines that you're already taking, and then to monitor, have somebody like myself monitor that they've done their job, and then you can actually wean yourself off them. Unlike many people that might be selling and marketing supplements, you do not need to stay on them forever and on a long-term basis. If your diet is good and healthy, then supplements go in and they literally supplement your diet for a specific time, and then we can wean off them.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. If you have any queries, feel free to give us a call. You can call us at the pharmacy, or you can call Alison, or you can email or go along to our website to have a look. Thank you. Goodbye.